Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Monday, November 17th, 2025. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the Senior Minister of the Sunshine Cathedral. With me today are Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall. We are the Queer God Squad. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about us.
Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world.
In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots magazine, with Queer News Tonight sharing over 11,000 stories and 11 million views so far.
We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral perspective. Queering the Antichrist. Every time love is denied, Christ is rejected. The term Antichrist can refer to a specific individual in Christian prophecy, or more broadly, to anyone who opposes the message or mission of Jesus Christ. The concept often describes a powerful, deceptive figure who will oppose Christ's values and goals before being ultimately defeated. The quote-unquote beast from the sea in the book of Revelation is often interpreted as this figure, with some believing the number 666 might have originally referred to a historical figure like Emperor Nero. Metaphysician and Unity Church co-founder Charles Fillmore defined Antichrist as that which denies or opposes the idea that the Christ dwells in and is the true self of each individual. Whenever we see yielders of power opposing the Christ way of love of neighbor, restorative justice, generosity, compassion, kindness, healing, or affirmation of the marginalized, we are witnessing the spirit of Antichrist, that is, an attitude that is opposed to what Jesus Christ, the Anointed, stood for, lived for, and even died for. From a queer theological perspective, legislation, preaching, and attitudes that condemn or marginalize or reject LGBTQ+ people, or that ignore the suffering of the poor or the politically victimized, are the spirit of Antichrist, alive and functioning in the world today. There is probably no preordained monster to be called Antichrist, but every time the inclusivity, love, and welcome of Christ are denied, Antichrist is present in word and deed. The persons or representatives of Antichrist are not limited to a single figure in history, but rather it is an attitude that fails to see the divine spark in every person and the innate dignity of every human being. And my friends, we are seeing a whole lot of Antichrist these days, and that is the oppression of those who are food insecure. There's so much of that going around right now, and the powers that be are really pressing down on that. Those who are unhoused, they're being targeted for simply being unhoused. Immigrants, people of color, LGBTQ folk, and all of this is coming from people who claim to be Christian. Mm-hmm. And that is just one thing that just astonishes me, that they call themselves Christian. You know what? Actions speak a whole lot louder than words in this instance.
Yeah, the celebration of cruelty, that's Antichrist.
Absolutely.
The not giving a shit about your neighbor, that's Antichrist. You know, when your policies, we're going to make people be hungry, and you still somehow think that that's justifiable, that that's for the good of all. Or when your military is overextended, and when your economy is a false economy, and if you're trillions of dollars in debt, that you think you have an economy is a false economy. It's unsustainable. With this much debt, where you borrow to pay the interest on the old debt and you still got the debt, and on it goes, that's got a shelf life. Most empires collapsed not because they were overtaken by a bigger, better empire, but because they couldn't sustain themselves. That's the fall of the USSR. That was why the Great British Empire is now a cute little commonwealth. That's what's going to happen. That's what is happening. We are probably 2/3 through the process. We were warning you way back when, but we're now just like, now prepare yourself for the ending. We're all going to be around, and eventually we're going to return to some sane values. But between now and then, things are going to get a little uglier. Then they'll get better, but we will never have the influence. And maybe that's a good thing. There was a Spanish Empire in the 1500s, and now Spain is a cute vacation place. That may be us. You know, maybe we're just the places of dude ranches and beach resorts and Macy's at Christmas time. And that'd be great. But this idea of a power, when it's an unjust power, and the military's too spread out, doing too many things. We have 80 bases in the world, the U.S. 80 U.S. bases outside the United States. Trillions of dollars in debt. Rights being peeled back. Women no longer have the right of bodily autonomy. Marriage equality in question. All of these things, when rights are being chipped away, when the economy is propped up in artificial ways, when the military is overextended, then it falls. That was Rome. By the way, Rome fell under the weight of its own thing. Now, quite a bit longer after than when the writer of Revelation is writing, but they are still seeing that this is an unjust, unfair situation. And it was under the Emperor Nero, and who was known for his cruelty and for his poor administrative skills and for his selfishness and for his evil. And so that's why he fiddled while Rome burned, because he didn't care about the people of Rome. That is the Antichrist in the story. The number is the name. It says, and the 666 that you have to wear is the approval of the person whose name is 666. By the way, Nero Caesar, the numerical value of his name in several languages is 666. It's not a big mystery, but it does show you how you can notice oppressive systems and resist knowing. And you see how it's always, but one day. You know, the saints, they're going to be in white robes, and they're going to be around the throne. It's going to be a new heaven and new earth and all this great stuff. This thing can't sustain itself forever, and it's going to fall, and then we can rebuild and do better. That's the story, and we are living through it right now, but not for the first time, and probably not for the last time. We saw it with Germany. We saw it with Rome. We saw it with Egypt. We saw it with Spain. We saw it with the United Kingdom. We saw it with Napoleon. This is the story, that there's a tyrant. He believes his own rhetoric, and him or his descendants or his party bite off more than they can chew, and the whole thing collapses. And that's when you have a chance. Not everyone takes it, but that's when you have a chance to build something better, a new heaven and a new earth. It's actually quite a beautiful story, but there's no monster. And no monster you could think of worse than some of the governance going on right now anyway.
True.
You know, I think about all of this and the Antichrist and Antichrist and all this kind of stuff here, all the oppressive stuff that's happening, all the rights that are being taken away, children who are going to go without meals, families who are going to go without homes. It really does make the church's mission even clearer.
Yes, indeed.
That first of all, if a church or if a pastor, if someone in the church arena with a microphone or a bullhorn or something is not calling these issues out, you are in a comfortable place, and you might want to think about it.
You might want to check that privilege.
You might want to check that privilege. If you are disturbed by someone who is calling this stuff out, you might want to say, well, let me think about this, and where do I fall? What side of history do I fall? I want to fall on this. Those who are advocating for making sure things are happening that are right, or just being complacent and complain about things, well, y'all are doing too much of this, you're doing too much of that, and where do I fall with this? But for me, as difficult as all this has happened, I mean, we saw the first action with the trans in the military. We saw the next action with the trans healthcare, the next action around voting stuff, women stuff. I mean, the list keeps going and going and going and going. And yet, the church's mission is never more clear than it has ever been before. Part of the Sunshine Cathedral ending tagline is about healing the hurts.
Yes.
And I think that part of our tagline reminds us that we are a part of helping to heal the hurts that this type of belief and behavior is causing in our community, our nation, and helping to be a light of hope for the world.
Amen. There was a comic strip when I was growing up called Pogo, and Pogo used to say, we have seen the enemy, and they is us. I've seen the Antichrist. Hello.
Yeah.
We represent on earth anything that can happen. we decide for ourselves what is good, bad, and indifferent. And speaking of this American, I don't think we named it by name, this American empire, it is the quickest growing and the quickest dying empire that ever existed. So when you sit and you watch what's going on in the halls of Congress when they're open, you see the Secretary of Homeland Security just trashing the senators. You see the Attorney General just laughing at them, refusing to answer questions. You see the press secretary, when asked a question about something that she should know, she said, "Ask your mother," or something to that effect. So we're watching the decay of our society, American society, in real time. And yeah, I've seen the Antichrist, and they're way too close to me.
And he's orange. And here's the thing, but they call themselves Christian.
Yeah.
Caesars called themselves gods. Religion doesn't make it, because religion can be toxic, just like families and governments and anything, the educational system. Anything can be healthy or unhealthy. So yeah, they call themselves religious. Rome called themselves religious. They had temples and altars all over the place. They had a lot of gods. They had more religion than we had. They had more gods to worship.
Hello.
And but that doesn't mean anything. That just means if you're a mean person, you have a mean God.
Yep.
Because Emerson said, be careful what you're worshiping, because what you're worshiping, you are becoming.
Yes.
So, yeah, they're religious, and they weaponize their religion, and that's just one more weapon they're using against us. We can be spiritual, religious, spiritual searchers, on a path, whatever we want to call it, but we better be using our faith for good. And one of the ways we can do that is to help heal the victims that have been harmed, and to also speak out against the victimizers.
Yes.
And that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, I want to invite you to check out our Performing Arts series. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts has a great acts lined up for 2025 through 2026 season. Here is a taste of what's coming up.
December 7th brings Matthew Darren's annual Holiday Fantasia, always amazing, and this year it will again be co-hosted by Varla Jean Merman.
And in 2026, there is already some great shows lined up, such as Selection from Pearly, a musical based on a play, Pearly Victorious by Ossie Davis, on February the 7th. For more information about these shows and others, and to secure your tickets, go to sunshinecathedral.org/arts.
Please like and share this episode on your social media, and look for Sunshine Cathedral on Facebook or Instagram.
You can also like our individual pages on Facebook. Remember to visit sunshinecathedral.org frequently. There you will find Bishop Talk, where Bishop Darrell and I interview queer religious leaders, activists, and scholars.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad today. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that we are all in this together, and also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.